But see, God is good because your eyes feel that too. So things get a little blurrier, your husband's sight isn't as good. It softens. It's all sort of the way it works, yeah. They can't see you as well, and that's okay.
Honey, is that you?
Teacher? Yeah, we are. She's ready for it. I'm ready.
Yeah, I forgot this one goes off to open on my necklace. Thank you. Okay, well, very good. Do you have some people online? Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, welcome to the Open House Playbook class. Thanks for being here. Let me get you some handouts. Let's do that. I like handouts. You have a pen? Okay, great. Let's say if not, I can get you one in case you want to take some notes. Of course, you're welcome. You're welcome. Is that one? Yeah. Okay. You're welcome.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
Oh.
They both look like 40-year-old hands.
Oh, I like
Maybe 30.
Maybe 30. All right. Well, we're going to jump in here. I want to make the most use. What's that? Yeah, I think you should. Here we go. All right. We are going to jump in here to our open house playbook. Everybody, ladies, we're going to have girl time here today. I love it. This is Kylie. Kylie just passed her real estate exams. And so I met her at career night the other night and found out that she's a stay-at-home mom with 2 little girls. Is that right?
Yes.
And just tell us a little bit about yourself. Mm.
It just really didn't align for her to be in life, and I got second pain, and we decided to close at the beginning of last year. Just took some time to kind of learn, evaluate, where we wanted to go. And here I am.
Oh, exciting. Love that. Welcome. And I'm just realizing I left something. I have a printout of an MLS sheet. Will you see if it's on the printout or printer? I just need one copy. It should be printed. It should be, but in theory, it should be. Okay. So this is the Keller Williams Open House Playbook. I don't know if you guys are familiar. Maybe if we have some time at the end, I'll show you where the playbooks live. You have access to all of the Keller Williams playbooks. There's different ones. There's different playbooks for different things. Stacy, the first one that comes to mind is online leads. So if you're paying for online leads, there's a whole playbook for that. This obviously the playbook analogy is like as if we know what playbooks are. Like when you're coaching a football team or a basketball team, you have a playbook. You run different plays to win the game. And so this is the open house playbook that if we're going to do open houses, which I love, by the way, if we're going to do open houses, we want to have the plays that work. We want to have the plays that score the touchdowns, and we get the most out of our time. Because if you're going to invest a couple hours of your weekend, your precious time, your precious weekend, and you're going to give up time to go sit in a house, we want to make sure that you are doing all the things to make it worth your investment of time. And so we're going to talk about, there's different levels. I don't know if you know this, there's different levels of open houses. Are you doing a level 1 open house? Or are you doing a level 4, level 5, there's a level 7 open house, and it all depends. I'll go over that with you. Perfect. No? An MLS sheet.
Is it ruffled up?
No, I may not have printed it. It's the house that we have under contract on Creekmore. I just printed it as an example. Yeah, Bridgeshire. Okay. I want the MLS sheet, not the seller's disclosure. Thank you. We're getting there. I should have, you're right. That's my fault. Hey, Crystal, or here you go. All right. So one of the things I do love about open houses is I built my business on open houses when I was a new agent and didn't have a whole lot of business and didn't know what I should be doing and didn't know really how to get business. I would go do open houses and I loved getting into open houses. Hey, Ryan. I love taking on open houses because there's something at the door. Make sure we don't forget that. It's a great way to get out and meet people that are interested in looking at maybe buying and selling. And it was a great way to feed my database. It was a great way to find quicker transactions. So I think y'all agree with that. That's why y'all are doing them. You guys are doing them. You ladies are doing them already. And so if I can add something to what you're already doing, that's what I want to do. So you've got the whole playbook. I just decided to put the playbook up here. Let me see if I can go ahead and we always have to say anything we do has to be done in a TCPA compliant way, making sure that, if people are on the do not call list, we don't call them. If they don't want us to contact them, we don't contact them. We can get in big trouble for that. However, if they come into your open house and they fill out your open house sheet, okay, we can contact them. TCPA is the acronym. This is like the disclaimer. It basically means that we are going to abide by all federal, state, and local laws to not call people that don't want to be called if they're on the do not call list or do not text list. We can't spam them with phone calls. We can't use auto dialers to contact people and basically harass people that don't want to be harassed. And what that means is different to different people. I mean, you could be calling somebody 14 times in a row. That's harassment for sure. But some people may call one phone call harassment. So we need to kind of build a little bit of a relationship with these people, at least make a connection if we can, and make sure that we kind of have their permission to reach out. Like I know it's on our Southland site, but like, how would you find it? That's a great question. I don't have the best answer for that. Everybody says talk to your broker. I don't know if Darren, and I know Amber and Hannah are pretty good on that too. So and so Stephanie, okay. So that may be a class we do. That's a good thing. All right. So the first open house was held back in 1910. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't know that. But now buyers, they're pretty common because they're effective. They show the house, they showcase the house, and it's a great way for agents to pick up new clients. Now, if you're ever meeting with a seller, of course, they don't, we know open houses are two-sided. We know that, of course, it helps our seller to get the advertising and the marketing of their house, and it helps our buyers agents pick up new clients. So it's a win-win for us. So if we can get our sellers, I like open houses. I know Lonnie has a different opinion, and he's been doing this a lot longer than me. And he tells his clients, he said, hey, open houses don't really sell houses, but if you want one, I'll do one for you, kind of thing. He says more than that. I, on the other hand, I'm like, hey, I would love, especially if it's a good house and a good neighborhood. I'm like, you know what? I would love to do an open house for you. Maybe a couple, and of course I want to get that house sold, but I also want to pick up new buyers. So 53% of all homes sourced information about a property at an open house. So open houses actually do work. And it's low cost. This is another thing, another reason why it's great for newer agents getting started, or if you need a boost in your business, it's low cost. It costs you some time, some effort, but as far as like actual money and dollars, it's low cost. So here's some myth understandings. We won't go through all of it. I know you can read your handout, but some myth understandings might be buyers who come to open houses are not ready to buy. Stacy, would you? Most of your businesses come from open houses, and people are. So think about it. When you sit in an open house, you're putting a sign in the yard, a little flag maybe, and you're opening that door. The people that are going to walk through, perfect. Thank you. I know. I see that. This is perfect. Thank you very much. Did she? Okay. It's great. Thank you. Well, I'll double it. I'll just double it. I think. Perfect. So the people that when you like I said, when you put a sign in the yard and you open that door and you sit in a house for a couple hours, guess who's coming in? People who are at least interested in looking at houses, right? So they're kind of raising their hand to some degree, like, oh my gosh, I'm in the active hunt for a house. I have to find one this weekend, all the way to, we're just starting. I'm not even sure if this is something we want to do, but they're thinking. So they're already a little bit down that path to some degree. It's a great time to get in front of them. So they are at least some point interested, even if they're what we would call a looky-loo. And we like looky-loos, even though they may not be now business, they will probably do something at some point. I have ran into people that like to just go out and see open houses on a Saturday, and it's nice weather. They like to go out and see open houses. Okay, guess what? They're going to buy or sell at some point. At some point, they may just be nosy neighbors right now, and that's okay. But at some point, they're going to sell. And if we can get them in our database and connect with them, I'll take it. Looking at houses online, everyone just looks at houses online. So open houses are a waste of time. I've never really even heard that. So I don't even think that's a misunderstanding. Buyers, number 3, buyers who come to open houses already have an agent. It is kind of true nowadays because we have to have these buyer agency agreements signed before people can show you houses. I am finding, I don't know, those of you that are doing open houses, you can maybe attest to this. Are you seeing more people coming in? They already are represented. You're not seeing that, Crystal? Okay. Well, since the lawsuit, I've seen a lot more people have agents. And whereas before, when you didn't have to have a signed buyer's agency agreement, I had more people maybe unrepresented. But just something, just an observation. On open houses only work if we do them on the weekend. That's not always true either. Sometimes we're seeing more weekday open houses in the evenings. Yeah. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to read every single line to you. The main reason to have an open house is to sell that listing. Nope. Well executed prospect. This is for the buyer's agents, really, to prospect for new business. We know this. Yes.
I've had it frequently that when I contact people after the open house, they always think I'm the agent. And so how do I address that when they're there? Because I talk to them about, they just assume
people don't know. And I don't think that's a bad assumption, number one. I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't ever portray myself as being the listing agent, but I always just say, I work with them. So if I'm holding Ryan's house open.
I usually say that I'm not listing agent because even though I do my work, I still don't know anything about the house.
Correct.
I just always say, this is actually not my listing.
Yes. Yes.
So I can get the answer. So they kind of know. And I will say, I didn't know how if I can throw in this new learning I just had, a reminder. So these people had cameras in every single room, and they were watching the entire time listening. And I knew that. Tony told me that. But this couple came in, they looked at it, and in my perspective, and from what they're saying, they didn't necessarily like that house. They was out dated, and they were like, So after showing them around the house and cutting back and forth, it was clear to me they didn't like this house. So I said, well, what are you looking for? When it's buyer agent mode, and I said, well, there's some property. I know some that are here. I showed this one at Main Street. You might be interested. Well, those people called Tony immediately.
The sellers?
Yes, and had a meltdown that I was not selling their house. Yeah, and I'm like,
right.
I mean, it was a good reminder. I told Tony, I said, I appreciate the reminder. But the next couple that came in that really liked it, I didn't even know they were mad at me at this point. I was selling it to the next couple, so I hope they watched that. But it was a good reminder to me to first, and I remember Jacob telling me that first represent the house you're in.
Yeah.
Before you switch to that buyer. So, it's a great, very great area. But it was a good reminder to me. Be mindful of that.
Yeah.
You should try to sell that house. But I didn't feel guilty at all.
I don't ever portray or even hint that I am the listing agent, but people just don't know. They don't understand how this works. And if, you know, if it's Nanette's name on the sign and I'm holding it open, they don't know that I'm Nanette, or they didn't even catch the name, or, you know, people just don't put two and two together. I can have a Keller Williams name tag on and they'll go, well, what about your house next door that's listed with Reese Nichols or something like that? People don't even track, right? It doesn't really matter. I'll get them whatever they need, right? So, so back to your point, I just say, I'm holding this open for a colleague, like she says, I can get you anything you need to know. You know, in fact, if you want to know the square footage of the, or I don't know, something I can't get, how old is the whatever septic tank, I can, let me ask right now and I'll get on my phone and I will be texting and see if I can get that answer before the end of before they leave. So that's an easy thing for me. Is just go, I'm holding it open for a colleague. They weren't available this weekend or whatever people might understand. All right, let's see. Open houses only attract curiosity seekers and neighbors, AKA looky-loos and nosy neighbors. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I like meeting the neighbors. Yeah, I've got to keep my mind on target because I like to go down little rabbit trails. I'm gonna work on not doing that. But I did bring up on a Sold Mastermind that I have a listing coming up in Blue Springs, and I found out when I met with them that they don't want the neighbor coming in the house at the open house. You can have an open house, but you can't have my neighbor in here. So that created a whole thing for me. And so we're probably not going to be doing an open house because I can't do that. I can't say, sorry, you can't come in, but oh, you can come on in. I can't do that, right? We can't do that. And I'm not the bouncer, and I'm not doing that. And so anyway, oh yeah, there we go. Looky-loos may feel like a waste of time, but remember, curiosity seekers eventually will transact business. Sometimes they want to peek at the house. Sometimes the house, I get this all the time. I'll get neighbors coming in and go, yeah, I saw this house. The lady who lived here died and her kids came in and renovated it. I've been watching them take stuff in and out of the house. I kind of want to see what they've done with the place. Okay, great. Come on in. Let me show you around. Or they'll come in and they'll tell you something about the house. Oh, I remember when it flooded last spring. I'm like, oh, it did. Tell me more. Yeah, it was awful. They had to rip out all the carpet in the basement and the drywall. It was so bad. I'm like, really? And I'm looking at the seller's disclosure. I'm seeing if did they disclose the flood from last spring, you know, something like that. Or, oh yeah, the guy died in here. I'm like, oh, really? Thank goodness that's not on here. Not disclosing that. We don't have to disclose that, by the way. In the state of Missouri, you don't have to disclose that. Anyway, back on track, Brandy. I'm only doing lead generation on weekends if I spend my time hosting open houses. Really, an open house is not just a weekend activity. It is actually, if we do this at a high level to get the most out of it, we're working on this open house the week before and the week after. And if we if we do more than one open house on a weekend, we've got plenty of prep work to do and plenty of follow-up to do. So it's not just a weekend activity. That's why I'm saying, let's get the most out of it. We're investing a lot of time, effort, and energy. Let's get the most out of it, a return for our investment. And then I don't need to do an open house if I do a broker open. Does anybody know what a broker open is? Have you heard of a broker open? Agent open house. Yep. So occasionally agents will have an open house where they invite agents. It's usually like on a Tuesday from 11 to 1. They serve lunch, come take a look at the house, that kind of thing. That's different. And there's a different, that's a whole nother thing. So I won't get into that. But let's go on to this one. So here's the steps to holding a great open house. Pick the right house. Pick the right house. That is going to be really huge. Hold open, number one, hold open your own listings if you can. If it's your listing, you like the area, you like the price point, you want more of those houses, hold your own house open. You know that house better than anybody. That's a great place to, hold an open house. So if you don't have any listings right now, that's okay. Next thing, look to new to market houses, things that have been on the market for like 2 weeks or less, because it's still fresh. It hasn't been on the market too long. And people are still looking for that. Maybe haven't seen it 14 times on Zillow already. And then also look in low inventory neighborhoods. We'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to create marketing materials. We're going to market the open house, get ready to host, and then follow up. So that's kind of our table of contents, I should say. Pick the right house, hold open your own house. A lot of sellers are open to the idea of letting you hold an open house. And even if, you know, maybe work with them and see, you know, if they're not open to it, ask them why. You know, maybe, oh, I just don't want people in my house. I work from home. It's, you know, whatever they see if you can overcome the objective. And sometimes the objection, and sometimes you just can't. But try to hold open your own houses. This is a great way to meet prospective buyers and future clients. And like I said, they love to see your name, and you can say, yeah, this is my listing. It shows you got listings. It shows you know what you're doing, that somebody has already trusted you to put a sign in the yard. There we go. New to market homes. That's the 0 to 14 days. Many homes have their highest per traffic day during the first 2 weeks. We all know we get the most eyeballs on our listings the first couple weeks that it's on the market. So I personally, if I can, this is just again, most of real estate, and I tell this to agents all the time, nothing is really black and white in real estate. Everything is gray, right, Crystal? We just had that conversation yesterday. But I've had that conversation more and more lately because a lot of, you know, until you realize and kind of figure this out, you kind of think, well, what's the rules? How does this work? I want to do what's right. Where's the rule book? Because I want to play by the rules because I want to win. Okay, well, there isn't a rule book. Everything's kind of up in the air. There are some right and wrongs, don't get me wrong, but really everything's negotiable. Anything, we can make stuff work. But where was I going with that, Brady? Is anybody in their mid 40s and just loses thoughts randomly? Is that a thing or just me? It doesn't get better? Dang it. Oh, great. Because I'm telling a good story and I'm getting to a good point, and then the point is gone. Okay. But it shows that you've got a listing. It's a great way. What was I saying about new to the market homes? I don't remember. If I come back to it, if I think about my point, I'll come back to it. First 2 weeks, best traffic, not black and white. Yeah. All right, I'll make it back to it. Low inventory neighborhoods. These are neighborhoods that don't have a lot. There's not a lot of turnover. There's not a lot of open houses. And so people actually may want to come into that neighborhood. I'll tell you one right now, Winterset in Lee Summit. Winterset neighborhood, people love to live in Winterset. And Winterset's a big neighborhood. It actually has a couple different sections. And so what I learned from holding open houses over there is that there are people that will move from the older side to the newer side, or from the smaller side to the bigger side. And they watch their neighborhood like crazy. I held a new house open. It was a new build, and I held it open at Christmas time, and they did this whole thing like mantles and martinis. It was at Christmas time. So they had all these Christmas mantles decorated. They brought in professional decorators, and it was like a whole thing. And it was like a fun thing. Well, I held my house open during that event. So you got these ladies walking around with their martini glasses up and down the street, looking at all the houses, and there's my open house sign, and I'm hosting. I think we had spice cider. It was Christmas. We're playing Christmas music. It was really fun. But I got to meet a lot of the neighbors saying, I have a girlfriend that has been wanting to get into this neighborhood forever. And every time the house comes up, it either doesn't fit her, she doesn't, or for some reason. So we're always looking. And so I learned, I'm like, okay. So that's a neighborhood that would be a great place to hold an open house because there's a lot of eyeballs on it. People want to live there, and there's not a lot of turnover. So that's the low inventory neighborhoods. Mid-range priced homes. Yes, we all love to hold open the $1 million house. We love that. Love that. And that's a great one. If you can do that, if that's what you want. But you'll get probably more traffic in the mid-range price point. And for us, what would that be around here? 300 to, or upper 2s to maybe upper 3s. That's a hot price point where a lot of people are looking to buy in. And so you're likely to get more people coming by to look at your open house. And then choose the best time and day. So Monday through Friday, you can hold open houses Monday through Friday. You really can. There's not a set right or wrong day. You can't hold a Monday open house. Yes, you can. If you want, if it suits. Here's what I was going to say. Hold on before I lose it. Here it is. I found it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Thank you for clapping for me. That's great. There's no right or wrong way to do this. My personal preference is I like to list houses on a Thursday or a Friday. I like to hold it open on a Saturday and maybe Sunday, and while it's hot and fresh to the market. That's what I was going to say. I mean, you can put a house on the market on a Monday or a Tuesday. You can. I just find I get the most attention and attraction the closer to the weekend. And I think there's a lot of agents that also think that. So that's the big grand point I was losing track of. But you can have a Monday through Friday open house, usually 5 to 7. If you hold it from 5 to 7, you'll catch the people coming home from work. And so, especially if the house is on like a busy road, I would definitely consider that. However, I will say this time of year, we're starting to get to the time, well, it's starting to get more into spring and the warmer weather. So we're getting more daylight, but it is tough to have, when it's dark at 5, it's kind of hard to hold an open house at 5 to 7 in the evening. It's dark. People don't want to get out. I don't know if I want to sit in a dark house, if I'm honest. When I can't see who's coming up the drive, coming up the steps. I don't know. So consider that. But definitely Saturdays and Sundays, 2 to 3 hours, depending on the house and your schedule. If you can give 2 hours, and it's a hot house, maybe give 3, because you're going to collect half as many more leads in theory. And so I do like 3-hour open houses if I can do it, if it kind of makes sense. Because remember, even if it's not just a hot and hopping open house where people are in and out, at least you can get some other work done too while you're there. So there are benefits. And then also, if you do the Saturday morning 11 to 1 or 2 to 4, it is possible that you could do 2 open houses on the same day. So you can hold an 11 to 1, and then it gives you an hour to get over to the next one. If it's close enough, go do a 2 to 4. Have you done that?
Yeah.
It's a haul. It works. But if it's your lead generation time, and here's the thing, guys, girls, ladies, all it takes, this is my theory, all it takes is one good contact to make that whole thing worth it. And, so if you have an open house and one person walks through, you can get down on yourself and go, man, I just got one. But if that person transacts with you and picks you as their agent, I'd say it was all worth it. Because that could be a $9,000 payday or more, right? Just for sitting in that house for the weekend. So if this is a strategy you want to do, I would stack your open houses. You can do as many open houses as you can. But I don't know if anybody was here for the team meeting. I don't know, probably 3-4 months ago. I had my friend Selena Marishla came in. She did 100 and almost 60 open houses last year. It became her thing. And I don't think she started her open houses until June, like her marathon. And she was holding them open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that became her thing. And so I watched her do this. That's why I had her come in, and she was collecting leads. She's a magnetic personality. She can talk to people. She can get in front of people. She can sell ice to an Eskimo. And I'm not, so don't do that thinking, because her challenge that I've watched her, and she's a newer agent. She's been in the business about 3 years. She's a newer agent, and she's a good friend, but I watched her bring these people in, and I'm sitting there going, girl, you're killing it. This is amazing. And then I would watch her close sales, and it didn't correlate exactly. I mean, she definitely had an uptick in her closed sales, more than she ever had. The problem, but it still didn't correlate for the amount of leads she was getting. So unfortunately, she was so busy on doing the open houses that she didn't do the follow-up. So in that case, it's probably not worth doing 4 a week or 5 a week if you can't give them proper attention and follow-up. All right, so we've picked the right house. We've picked the house. How do we get them? How do we get our open houses? If you don't have listings, do we know how to get in the MLS and search for other houses in our office that we can possibly reach out to the listing agent and ask them if we can hold it open? Does everybody know how to do that? I'll work with you on that. If not, let me know. There's no shame in saying, I don't know how to do that. Are we good? Does anybody? I will. There's another way. There's a better way. And when I get some time, I'm going to stay on track if I can, but I want to show you, I'll pull up the MLS. You can do a search by our office number. So all the listings in our office in the MLS, our office number is KW08. Yep. And so you can look through all the listings there and see if there's a house there that looks good to you that you would like to hold open, and reach out to the listing agent and see if that would work. Work it out with the agent. You can post it on, you've seen people post in our Facebook group. Does anybody have a house I can hold open this weekend? You can do that. And then, or grab one when somebody's offering, hey, does somebody want to hold my house open? So now that we've picked the right house, we're going to create marketing materials. Flyers are good. There's two purposes for the flyers. The first is to invite them to the open house. And so I did bring my open house. I literally bring this with me on every open house I do. It's my open house kit. It's a little disorganized right now, but I move fast sometimes. So sometimes at the end of my open house, I go, and then I don't always get it fixed. But I do have some old flyers and they're a little bent up. I'm sorry, but I took these around to an open house that I did, and I knocked on the doors of all the neighbors to let them know. This was also a house that I held open, and I learned this was in Kansas City near the St. Thomas More School. And when you hold the things open, you realize people want to live near their school. People could not wait to get in this house, even though it was not maybe the best, most shiniest, awesome, amazing house. But it was a very well-attended open house because people wanted to live near the school or the church. And so anyway, that's just something I picked up. Didn't know that when I took the open house. I held it open for another agent. And I went door to door and then told them about the house and invited them to my open house. So this would be like a mini flyer, so to speak. But remember, we're paying for copies, right? So, oh, wow, look at what I did. That's so great. Yes.
What do you do when the knock on the door?
No, nope. I don't. Now I have been in door knocking mode where I'm just knocking, and then I'll as I'm standing there waiting, I see the sign. I'm like, oops, sorry. And if there's a camera, I'm like, I'm so sorry, and then I leave. That's what I do. That's what I do. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's my car. Driveway.
Yep. Yep. I don't know. I was holding the thing and I got out of, I don't know how to get back to present. I'm not seeing it doesn't have a present option. So help. Yeah, there's a panic button. He just knows. Yeah. I'm like, I just go, no. All right. Flyers. Thank you. All right. No, I don't know. I mean, try not to smash the buttons and maybe it won't do that again. Okay. So flyers, we know they work. If you can partner with a lender, even, sometimes your lender will create your flyers for you. They might pay for them to be printed. Hi, Miss Kay. Thanks. So also make sure your information's on there. Make sure it's compliant. It's got your brokerage phone number, all the good stuff. So when you're making flyers, and then if you can give some kind of a call to action, like this one's like, ask me about below market financing or get the value of my current home. If you can put something, that's what they call make offer for immediate response. That's what they call a MOFIR, MOFIR. And so if you can put some kind of call to action out there, give them a reason why they should pick up the phone and call you or text you. Think about that. Something to think about. Also, so that's a flyer. We kind of know flyers. We're good with that. Registration sheet. You have to ask yourself, how am I going to collect information? I got to be able to connect. I've been to somebody's open house one time. I was checking out open houses many, many years ago. I walked in and the agent didn't have a sign-in sheet, didn't have a book, had zero way to connect with her people. And I watched her go to her purse and she's digging for a purse. She pulls out like a little journal looking thing like this, and she's ripping out a page and she's like, here, put your contact on this and put your contact info on this and I'll get that to you. And I was just thinking, as an agent, and I wouldn't, criticize her in any way publicly, of course, but I just remember going, that's probably not a good idea. That's probably not the best way when you're looking unprepared, unprofessional. So you got to ask yourself, what do I want? How am I going to collect their information? There's so many different ways. Some people, old school would be they had a book, or a sheet where everybody just signed one line of the sheet, name, address, or email, phone number, whatever you got on there. So that's fine. If that's what you want, go for it. I prefer a clipboard. So this is what I have, my feedback form. I put it on clipboard. I have 3 clipboards that I lay out there on the desk or on the counter with me. And this is what I use. And I've shared this with several of you already. And I basically say, hey, thanks for stopping. I don't just hit them at the door with this, but the part about this, when I ask them to carry this, I say, hey, you know what? The sellers would love your feedback. If you could, the sellers and the listing agent would love your feedback. We want to know what the buyers are thinking about their house, the good, the bad, the ugly, whatever you got for us. I would be so grateful if you could give us your opinion and your feedback. Do you mind? And they all say, no, I don't mind. I said, just take it with you. And then, or maybe I didn't get to them ahead of time, but when they stop by and they're about done, it's like, I say the same thing. Do you mind filling this out? It really helps us. And people want to help. And so a lot of times they will give their feedback on how do they think the curb appeal, the condition, location, floor plan, overall impression. How do you feel about the price? What were your favorite aspects, your drawbacks, that kind of thing. If you want one of these, I can share it with you. And if you want the digital version, so you can make it your own really quick and easy, I'll tell you, I share because I got it from someone else myself. This isn't mine. I made it mine. You're welcome. And like I say, if you want the digital version, just let me know and I will share. So that way you don't even have to go retype it. You can just take my name off the bottom and make it yours.
And you know what I just did the other day and it worked, and I think I'm gonna keep doing it.
Do you want one?
I made there's questions, I made questions, and I made a Google form.
Yeah.
And then I made a QR code.
Yep. Do you want one? You good? Yes.
I feel like when I'm doing the people side and over community, I don't think it's effective to use it. Okay. I kind of stumbled on that. I actually used to put some of the brochure because I wasn't there. And the brokers came through all day. And they spoke to it and then they put their feedback on. I don't know, it was just a different way.
That was the other thought. You can do a digital version. You can do a QR code. You can do a Google form. You can have an iPad there where they can fill it out right there. That's however you choose to do it, as long as you collect their information and it works well for you and it works well for your people, do it. Do it. Well, here's what I do. So here's what I do. When they hand it to me and I'm standing nearby and they hand it to me and I'll say, okay, awesome. Well, great. Oh, you know what? Is this an 08 or an 06? What is that? Okay, great. Or if it's a husband and wife and they give me one number, I usually ask them, is this for Cheryl or Tony? And I like to write that down because sometimes I've been in situations where I get a phone number. I'm like, is that Cheryl or is that Tony? I don't know. So I try to write that down. Sometimes, here's another thing. See, I'm going down bunny trails. What I also will do is if they don't really fill out the top part, they just fill out they sometimes do that, or they'll maybe give me their name, Cheryl Smith. Okay. Hi, Cheryl. Thanks. Awesome. Well, hey, I noticed that you were looking, I'll try to find a way to get the other stuff. And I sit there and fill it out for them. Like, hey, I noticed that this is a story and a half. You're really looking for a 2-story or you're looking for a ranch, whatever. I know I'm sure I have a couple others I can send you. What's a good email address I can send them to you at? And then I'll write that down and then it's in my handwriting. Or you know what? I could text it to you right now. What's a good cell phone number? And now I've just got their email, I've got their text. Because I'm trying to think of a way to give them something. Yep. Yeah. I got that. I'm a 1-copy girl. I like one, and this is what I was asking them to help me print. And I do like to take like a pink or orange, some kind of other color pen, and across the top, I write original copy, please do not remove. And I write that on my sheet, my MLS sheet, and I write it on a seller's disclosure. So that's what I do. That way I have the information. If they want to know how old the roof is, how old the HVAC is, I can get that to them. How has the basement leaked, whatever, I can find that in the seller's disclosure. If they want to know something about what the HOA includes, okay, I can tell them. But and they'll say, oh, you don't have any extras. I'm like, I don't. I would love to send you one though. It's a way for me to gather their information. If I just have these and I hand it to them, I don't have any hook to get them, to get their information. So that's what I do. But I have been to open houses where they have a whole stack of MLS sheets, and I guess they just hand them out. What I have a whole stack of when I go to, and I'm a little off my stuff, but this is good stuff too. Now these are all, the football season's over, but I hand out my football calendars because I usually have extras. I'll have a stack of that. I have a business card. So I just printed this out off the computer. I found this little stand with a business card holder. I found that at KCRER long time ago. Haven't broke it. So that's, you never know, right? I slammed this stuff around. Say that. Oh, it could. Yeah, I could. So I kind of have a little display I usually set up. It's something like this. I put it on somewhere on wherever it makes sense, kitchen counter usually. And it's aimed towards the door they would be walking in. I've got my 3, and I just have 2 here because I have kids, so that's why they don't match anymore. They used to match. I used to have 3 that matched. But I have 3 clipboards I stack on top like this. I have at least 3 pins I lay on top. I put my information nearby somewhere. Sometimes I put out bottles of water. I like to offer water. I will tell you, water is really great, especially on hot days. And it kind of gets people, sometimes they'll stand around and drink a bottle of water and talk to you a little bit. I used to do cookies. And sometimes I'm not opposed to cookies or brownies because I found that if you can get somebody a cookie or a brownie, they'll stand around and eat it and they'll talk to me a little longer. But be prepared. They can leave messes and crumbs. And so if you're in a new build that doesn't have any kind of trash can, any kind of toilet paper, paper towel, any way to clean up anything, just be careful. No sprinkles. I've learned that, no sprinkles, because I'm over there picking up sprinkles before I leave. Anyway, that's got some. Nope, I got some, for sure. And toilet paper lives in my car too, for reasons if you're out showing or if you're out at an open house and somebody, whether it could be yourself, it could be a person, a client, a child that's having an emergency. It's good to have, here's some toilet paper. Because I don't know, these guys who flip these houses or build these houses, they don't think like us girls. They don't need that toilet paper. And so they're not worried about us.
After showing on Sunday, I did a 9 a.m. showing on Sunday to get help on the contract.
Yeah.
But they had their 2-year-old nephew and didn't have.
Yep.
So the homeowners love cleaning stuff. I texted the listing agent. Hey, like we're gonna use it, but like we're gonna clean up after ourselves. We can use a couple square foot cleaning your stuff or whatever. But I'm adding paper towels.
Oh, if you do this long enough, you're gonna, I was showing my clients a house and they live next door. So I sold them a house. Their neighbor's house was bigger and on the market. So they came over. Hey, Brandy, can you show us this house? Sure, let's show you a bigger house. Let's do that. And the little boy, older parents, little boy, like 60-year-old parents, 3-year-old boy. And he was adopted from the Philippines or something like that. Cute little boy. And he's potty training. So he comes over with no pants on and t-shirt, no pants. I have boys, I have kids. I understand. I mean, it is a thing. I get it. I wouldn't maybe do that to the showing, but they're right next door. And so he comes over and he stands there and right on the hardwood floors. And I'm like, hey, so-and-so, you're going to need to grab him. He is having an accident right now. And I don't know if we're on camera. I don't know if we're being watched and listened to. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she grabs her husband and they're all start freaking out. She takes off his coat, her husband's coat, and begins to run the coat to clean it up. And we're smearing it. And it's the whole thing. And I'm like, this is not working. Hey, you're right next door. Could you go get a towel? Can you go get some cleaner? Can you go let's get this cleaned up. We're going to stop everything. And there's people in the front yard that want to come in. So let's do that right now. But they were so used to it. They're like, we'll get it. I'm like, no, we kind of need to get it right now. Yeah. Anyway, things you get to do and see, awkward conversations. It's great. Anyway, back to the registration sheet. However you do that, let's do that. Let's see, the feedback, they call it a scorecard. I call it a feedback sheet. We want their feedback. And then that way you can also report back to the seller, hey, this is what the potential buyers said about your house. So it really helps those conversations for that listing agent. Next page, here's an example of a flyer. And don't forget, we now have Canva Pro. And so that may be something you choose to do to make, there's really no reason not to have a really great flyer if that's what you want. I think y'all are pretty good at flyers, so we won't spend too much time there. There's a scorecard. That's another way to do what I just shared with you. If you like that, do that. You know, find a way to get their feedback. Then you're going to market your open house. If we don't market it, this is the biggest key to the open house. You may have all the cute things. You may have the cookies. You may have the swag. You can do all kinds of amazing things, but if we don't get people in the door, they're never going to see you. So we have to market the house. This is the most important thing. And so here's some different ways. Invite your database. Yeah. Number one, they may not want to come to the open house. They may not even want to live in that area, but it could be a touch for your database. And it shows you're out doing realtor things. And so you can invite your database. And you can invite the neighbors. And the way you invite the neighbors, go knock on the door, invite them. We've talked about this. We know we can do that. Hey, we can tell them, hey, about to have an open house. It might get a little busy over here. If anybody parks in your driveway or blocks your driveway or your mailbox, please just let me know. Here's my card. Here's my text me. I'll have them move. I'm so sorry. That, you know, and invite them. Come look. Invite the neighbors. There's a whole conversation right there at the bottom. Hi, my name is, and you know, because sometimes people are like, I don't know what to say. I can knock on the door. What am I going to say? There's a sample conversation to have. You can, the big one, post to social media. That's where people are looking for houses. And you guys, most of you do a great job with this as well, but make sure you tell, I occasionally, because we're busy, we got a lot on our brains always. Sometimes I'll see an open house and go, well, what day is that? They forgot to put the day. I think early on I posted an open house, forgot to put the address. You know, that's a little hard for people to come find you if they don't have the key days and times, the details, know how to reach you, make sure it stays compliant, that people know what brokerage you work for, that kind of stuff. I will say this, there's a sample social media post that you can post. And again, everybody kind of has a little different thoughts about that. I will tell you the best place is to post online in Facebook. Well, I don't know about Instagram. I'm probably old is what I'm finding out. But Facebook Marketplace, posting these things in all the community groups. So if you're hosting an open house in Blue Springs, go join the Blue Springs Swap and Shop page. Go join the Blue Springs, you know, community page. There could be 3 or 4 in Blue Springs. Go join them. I've done that enough now that I'm pretty much, and there could be new groups I haven't joined yet, but I do search for those. But all the ones in Cass County, Pleasant Hill, Raymore, you know, there's so many. Post it in all the places, all the places. Then whenever you see each other post in all the places, go ahead and like it, at least like it, and get some activity on somebody else's post. Instagram, I'm not sure about how that, I mean, it translates, it does get posted there. I do know that, but I don't know that they have community groups that I'm not aware of that. No. So that's why I think Facebook is the best place. Advertise it on your page, your business page, and then post it in all the community groups and the surrounding community groups. So if I'm going to hold a house open in Harrisonville, I'm going to post it in all over the things in Harrisonville, all the things in Cass County, and then I'm going to come up here to Belton and Raymore. I'm going to post it up here too, and maybe Pleasant Hill for people that might want to move to Harrisonville. So you don't have to just stay in the city. The more places you can post it, the better. And you will get more people. And when I always ask people, how did you hear about the open house? They might say, my agent sent it to me, or I saw it online. Okay, great. Cool. I always ask because I want to know where people are, because that's where I want to post it, right? Any questions about social media posting? Every now and then. People will laugh at the price. And I try to, you know, just try to be professional. And you can, and if it's your post, you can delete it. You can delete their comment.
Although on the last one, the outside was sold about the guy that posted, I got his name, and then I got that. And when the house sold for the full price, I sent him a just sold post.
Go, Glenda. That's great. Oh, well, there you go. Yeah. So instead of I try to stay professional and say, wow, are you in the market looking for a house? You know, but sometimes people are just unreasonable and I just delete them and well, good for you. So definitely market, knock on doors, whatever you can do to get people there. The more people, the better. Get ready to host. You're going to put out your signs. This is important. Signage is the last key step to getting as much traffic as possible to the house. I brought some of my beat up signs that are 8 years old. I'm ready for a new batch, but I'm bringing what I have to show you. I have different, this is one of the bigger ones. I got all my signs at KCRAR. The little feet are mangled. They just are. They're going to be mangled. But I will say I didn't bring any. I like these legs better than this. There's thicker legs that are more expensive and they break. Their little welds don't hold. And so they're more expensive and they look better. But these are 8 years old and they're, you know, I bend them back. I just keep bending them back. But anyway, so I've got big ones. I've got smaller ones. I've got house shaped ones. And so I buy different ones that I can. Now I chose red because obviously we're Keller Williams. I have one that says open Saturday. I've got one that says open Sunday. Now, if you notice, now this looks really nice. I use my Cricut and I cut out a 1 and a 3. That looks real nice. Until you hold a house open from 11 to 1, or the homeowner is only available from 10 to 2. And then so I'm like, I started with a dry erase and that makes it look yucky. And so I finally figured out what works for me is I put the word today because I used to have a set of Saturday signs and I had a set of Sunday signs. Then I held a Friday open house and I have no signs. So I just changed it to say today. Now, this doesn't work for the 7th level open house because to do a 7th level open house, I'm putting out signs on Thursday or Friday before. So I can't say today if I'm putting them out too early. But this is what I found works best for me in my crazy schedule. And then I print out on just a computer paper and I use packing tape to tape it on. I try to do my open houses from 11 to 1, but if I do have to change it, I can just peel this off. I've already got the font saved in my computer at the right size. I go just change the times, print it out real quick, cut it, and there's probably a better way, but that's what works best for me. I would have to tell you at home. It's like 53 or something. I don't know. And so I just have it saved on my computer. I always open it up and just reprint what I need. But I do try to keep them the same because I was spending so much time changing signs and times and all that. And I'm like, this is like, I hate it. And so they don't look the best, but it gets the point across. Another thing I did that I needs a refresh, I went to Dollar Tree and I got these Dollar Tree. So they were literally when it was back at $1. And I obviously this was the last time I had an open house. It was on a gravel road. So that's why I've got to watch this one. But it was the one, and these things will get beat up, but they look so cool in the sun and they're spinning. And they, because I used to use balloons and I would go buy balloons and then they would flop around and then the strings would get all tight. And I'm buying dollar balloons every freaking weekend. And this is what I've picked up that works best for me. And so, and then when I get these going and they're all there, then they kind of connect the sign from corner to corner to corner to know, okay, there's another pinwheel. There's another pinwheel. So this is more my style too. I'm a former elementary teacher. This kind of fits me and my personality. I don't see Caesar putting out a sign like this for his open house. I don't think Lonnie would have an open house sign like this, but it fits me and I'm okay with that. Good question. So this one says 20 to 40 signs. And I'll tell you why. I don't do 20 to 40. I don't do 20. I probably do 6 to 8, if I'm honest. But I'm not doing a 7th level open house. I don't have time for that. Some people make that their lead generation strategy, and this is like a full-time job to do open houses. I got one right here. This is get one of these. I didn't bring all the poles because they're loud and clanky, but you have to have a hammer to beat the thing into the ground. So in my open house kit, I have a hammer and there's 4 poles that go with this, but I don't know how tall that is. But it attracts Amazon. It's like $50, $60 on Amazon. And I've had this for 8 years and it looks brand new. It looks brand new. They weather well. It's good quality. Definitely get one of these. Very attention grabbing. So back to your open house signs. So what I like to find
Yeah.
This is going on
now.
now. Before I was a realtor, I would drive by open house signs. They would be there for like,
Mhm.
so you never knew. You
Yeah.
kind of follow the signs and you never find it. So this just lets everybody know this is happening right now.
Right now. I like it. That's what I think. It's worth the effort and it looks really great. And so get you a flag. Amazon is where I got that one. You said something else. Oh, another thing about signs, a couple thoughts about signs. Personal preference here. I don't have branded signs that say open house and my name on it. I'll tell you why. Personal preference. If you do that, awesome. Love it. I would love my name to be on a lot more things. However, I wonder if it's a little confusing when people are looking for Brandy's name and then they pull up to a house and it says Brian Finn or Nanette Middleton or, any of us. And they're like, wait, I'm looking for Brandy's open house. This is Nanette's open house. What up? You know what I mean? Then the sign in the yard maybe doesn't match. That's just personal preference. So that's why I have just the generics. But I do know, that's not right or wrong. That's just what I do. I'm going to pass this out as we, kind of finish up here. This is what I printed this because it's tiny to read, but yet it was the best, quickest version I could find online. It has somebody else's, team name on it, but that's okay. This is what a 7th level open house is. So you can kind of see based on what activities you do, what type of open house, what level open house are you doing? There you go. So if you just put a sign in the yard, you're doing a level 1 open house. Level 2, you put a sign in the yard with some balloons or riders or a little pinwheel. That's a level 2. You put a sign in the yard with some balloons, riders, and then directional signs on the corners. You're doing a level 3 open house. If you do all of that, but you also you put out flyers the week before, you've emailed invites, and you post to websites, you're doing a level 4 open house. If you do all those, and then you go invite the neighbors, 100 minimum. That's a lot. That's a lot. So a lot of times when they say invite the neighbors, you can invite 5 to the left, 5 to the right, and 10 across the street. To do a level 6 open house, you've done all the things, you've invited the neighbors, and you get on the phone that morning to remind people. Again, there's a way to do that called circle prospecting, and you kind of have to subscribe to a service that provides phone numbers based on an address or a location. I don't do that, so I'm not a level 6 and I'm not a level 7, which is you hold 4 other open houses in that area in various price ranges. One thing that's not on here is all the signs, and one thing I want to tell you about the signs, you can put more than one sign at the corner. And so I attended an open house early on from a lady that did these at a high level. And this was a couple of the things that she did. So I picked this up from her. And all of my signs used to have this little thing on it. I laminated it. This is the only one I had left. That's kind of why I brought it. It says Brandy Nieto. It's got my phone number in case a grumpy neighbor comes and sees my sign and they can maybe try to call me and I'll come get it, or they'll know how to get it to me. If they don't want it in their yard, or if it goes missing somehow, they can maybe reach me. Obviously, it's got my old brokerage on it, so I don't use this one anymore. But and I zip tie it, I did that on all my signs. And over time, they've just kind of, well, first of all, I've changed brokerages. I'm here now, so I clipped them all. And so that's why they're not on there. But they actually, that's where I get my name out there if I were to do that. Signs. Okay, so if there's a busy corner, I may put 6 signs at one intersection. So if this stop sign is here, I may put one at the corner. I may come down, I may put another one here and then another one there. And so as people are driving up to the intersection, they see 3 signs in a row. You can do that. It really is attention grabbing. Go across the street, catch the traffic coming the opposite direction. Be careful. It's one of my least favorite things about putting out signs. I don't like putting out signs. I don't like collecting signs. I hate that. But it's what we sign putter outer. Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's what I tell my friends about the most humiliating thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
To stand out there in a dress,
trying to get the sign in. It's true.
No.
Yes. Yeah. You got your dress shoes on and you're stepping in the snow and the ice and it's filling your shoe, or you're trying to run across traffic in your dress clothes. It's a whole thing. I get it, you know, and then their sign is being flapped in the wind, you know, like, because it's, yeah, it's, as you can tell, these are war stories. And then where to park. That's the other thing, is where can I park my car that I can go do this? Yeah. And then I just don't make eye contact with anybody. If I can't see them, they don't see me, right? Okay, wrapping up here. Oh, follow up. So then the other thing is super important as you get their information, follow up. So here's what my follow up looks like. So I've got their information, and as soon as they leave, if there's nobody else in the house, I will sit there and I will jot what I remember. You know, let's say because I'm using Cheryl. Cheryl came in with her son. They're looking for, like, I'll write down memory what I remember. Looking for her son, who will be moving to the area in May after he gets out of the military or whatever. And then so I just, that way it jogs my memory when I get back. If I can, I've got my laptop. Well, I always have my laptop with me and I have it plugged in. It's ready to go. If I can, meaning nobody else is in the house, I'm going to go enter it into command. I'm going to put this person into command, and I'm going to turn on, I have a open house smart plan ready to go. So when I put them into command, I add them to my smart plan, and it, for the next, I think it's 8 weeks, it follows up with them. I can share what that looks like too. That's something I've just recently done in the last year, and I really like it. So it's a way to just systematically follow up with this person. And then what I also do is I go to my little open house box, and I have another thing I have in here is I have a box of thank you notes. Just blank thank you cards. And I sit down and I write a thank you note. Thank you so much for stopping by my open house today. It was so great to meet you and your son. I'm excited, you know, that he gets to move closer to home after he gets out of the military, yada, yada. I'll throw in a couple cards. I got my stamps ready to go. I address that. Well, first of all, how did I get their address? Well, hopefully they gave it to me. But if they didn't, I'm looking it up on the tax records if I can figure out where they kind of live, and I can figure out this is there. So I'm going to put this in the mailbox. I'm going to put a thank you note in the mail on my way home. I'm going to find a post office or a mailbox to drop this in the mail on my way home, so that it's Saturday or Sunday, they'll probably get it in the mail Monday or Tuesday. Okay, so they just had the open house. I put my business card in there, and that goes out. And then on the bottom of my sheet, the reason I like a sheet is because then at the bottom, I usually just notes to myself, entered into command, handwritten notes sent. And then once I get it really into command and I've updated that, I can get rid of this. But that's because usually you're on the fly or you get interrupted while you're doing that and you can't remember where you left off. So I like this. And then when I'm done, I take these, I slide them into my laptop, I close my laptop, and I know to process those when I get back home or next time I pick up my laptop. What else? Follow up. So another thing I'll do, I will call them, especially if I think they were a little warm, like a warmer lead, wanting to do something sooner. So I've met them. Maybe I've texted them something, the seller's disclosure or something. I can do that because you can send that through the app. You can get on the MLS app, you can find the seller's disclosure, and you can text that over. So a lot of times I like to do that if they're looking for it. So I've met with them. I've hopefully maybe texted them. Then they put the handwritten note in the mail. And then maybe in a week or towards the next weekend, I might give them a call and go, hey, just checking in. Did you get I put a card in the mail. Did you happen to get that? And a lot of people don't check their mail anymore. Me neither. I don't check the mail very often. It's down the street and I got to have a key. And, but anyway, but it's another touch. And well, no, but I didn't, but I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, just keep an eye out for it. And are you going to go back out? Are you going to be looking for more open houses? And I always remind people like, hey, I can get you in any house out there listed by whoever. You don't need to call the agent on the sign. You can call me. It simplifies it. If you just call me, I'll get you any information you want to know. I'll get you in any house you want to get in. And they'll, oh, okay, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, I can. So, and I follow up. Are you going to go out looking for open houses again? So follow up. They always say the fortune is in the follow up. So don't, until they tell you to stop calling me, they unsubscribe from your emails, they tell you to go jump in the river or whatever, you just keep reaching out. Even if they ghost you, even if they don't answer your calls or text you or call you back, keep reaching out. because I will tell you, I'm getting people circling back around this spring that I met in April, May, August of last year. They didn't buy anything. They didn't find anything. They're ready to go back at it. They took some time off and now they're back to, so I'm picking up my open house contacts because I stayed in touch. They're coming back around to me this year. So here's a conversation, how to follow up. You know, we might read through that, what that might look like. If your open house was a success, this is what you can tell them. Like to the neighbors, like, hey neighbor, we had 14 groups of people through. It was a hopping open house. And we got 3 offers, so that's exciting. But here's the thing, we can only sell it to one person. So we had a lot more interest of people who want to be here and maybe even on this street. Have you thought of selling your house? Do you know anybody else on the street that might be thinking of selling? And maybe you can pick up a potential listing that way. That's kind of what that conversation looks like. There's another conversation. I'm not going to read through that. All right, we're kind of through the playbook. There's more things here about how to capture leads, what to do with them, how to create your, like more step by step. I'll let you guys take that on as you wish, because I want to hit something else before we're done. So in my open house kit, a couple of things that I bring, and again, it's not the most organized, so I apologize for that. I do bring, like I said, one MLS sheet, one seller's disclosure. I've got my clipboards ready to go. And I usually just make a big stack of those copies of the feedback form, so I don't have to do that very often. I keep them on the feedback, they store real nicely on the clipboards. What else have I got in here? Sometimes you have to be careful with this, but I do have a candle, a pretty strong candle. This Aldi has like the best candles as far as like they smell, and they're not very expensive. But I have a candle and I have something to light it with. Be careful with this if somebody lives in the home still, because they can be sensitive to smells, right, Nanette? Yes. So some. So yeah, if somebody lives there, be really careful with what smells and scents you're introducing to the house. Somebody might be super sensitive, but if it's a vacant house or a new house, it could have like a bit of a stale smell to it. This smells a little more homey. I like to, plus I just like it. It smells girly and pretty, so I like that. So I have some of those in here. I'll just pull it out in no particular order. Something new for me that I've added is a buyer's agency agreement. So in case I meet somebody that wants to see the house down the street or around the corner, yeah, I can show you that. As soon as I'm finished here at 3, I can get you in over there. Hey, but we're going to have this signed first. So that way, you know, I cover myself there. So I do keep a seller or a buyer's agency agreement ready to go. I've got my stamps and my thank you notes. I've got toilet paper. I've got hand sanitizer. I sometimes put this out just because, and especially if I have food that day, I will put out hand sanitizer. I've got some gum, antibacterial wipes. Oh, occasionally I even have booties, because sometimes the houses don't have it. It might be rainy. I've got booties in here. What else do I have? Mints. I put out mints sometimes. Oh, I like putting. Ooh. Okay. This is beat up. I need a new one. This cost me $1, so I think I've got my money's worth. But I like to tape this on the front door. That tells people, especially on those doors that you can't, like, it don't have a glass door and they don't know. I'm like, they'll knock, right? Then you got to go answer it. KCRAR, 95 cents. So I put that in here. So that leads me to my pencil box. I robbed this from my kid, you know, when they were done with school one year. Just a pencil box. And in here I have tape and I have scissors, because sometimes I've needed scissors for different things in houses. What else? I've got business cards. I've got pins. If you need pins for your sign-in sheet, I've got business, like I said, business cards. Here's something else that I've done. I don't know why I have it in here necessarily, but I have open house guest passes. These are just business cards that I had made up, and they say open house guest pass, and you give this to your buyers. So when you're working with a buyer and you know they're going into open houses, they can have these and they can just give this to the agent who's sitting in the house. And it says, I'm exclusively represented by Brandy Nieto of Keller Williams. All questions about my home purchase should be directed to her, and it has my phone number. That way my buyers can go into a house and don't feel pressured by the agent sitting in there. So that's something. I've had these, I must have ordered like 1,000 because I still have plenty. What else do I have? Okay, here's something I used to do. Make your own magnetic business cards. I got these at Lowe's or Home Depot. And it's just a magnet with a sticker. And so if I'm feeling really whatever one day, if it's honestly, older people like magnets on there, or they like to they'll put my business card on their fridge. And so I just peel the sticker, put my business card on there, and I will mail it to them. I'll pop it in the mail. So that's what that's in here. What else?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, and I'm sure there's somebody here that couldn't do that. I hadn't thought that. Boy, it's taking it. That's why I got my big old laptop in my lap and replaced it with my, my cards and stuff that I'm showing. Yeah.
I've taken a stool, like if it's a nicer house and I don't want the look of the folding chair, bag chair, I have just a white stool. I'll bring that and pop it up under the counter. It's just like, how adventurous do I want to be? How much furniture am I moving in? Am I moving out? What are we doing?
Don't forget that I need something out loud for myself. Glass cleaner.
Mm.
I've gone to so many where the dog all over the front door and all over the back. And it just looks awful. And
it's true.
Glass thingy. Yeah. But it's amazing and it kind of smells good too.
It's true.
Right.
I haven't done that, but I could see how that would be needed and necessary. I've got some like wipes in here that I can wipe stuff down. And I have an extra trash bag in here. Just even a Walmart bag would be good, because you never know if someone like has an accident, has a mess, has a something, and there's not trash bag, and then you're going to carry that with you. And then I have tape measure. I have a couple in my car. I've got one in here. I just, I used to have one of those fancy laser ones, and not sure where that one went. I blame the kids. So that's kind of that's what I bring with me, and it all fits really nice in here. And this collapses down. I can carry it like a crate. Amazon. It's a rolling crate or something like that. Uh-huh. Yeah. Teachers, a lot of times teachers like that kind of stuff. You can get them real fancy with like added on like little saddlebags, or I don't know, with like little pockets and stuff. I'm a little rough on my stuff because I'm always flying by the seat of my pants. So I'm like, quick, grab it. And then, like I said, I'm like, and then I go, and I hate to break your heart. I'm not the most organized person. Someone told me, you're so organized. I'm like, I look organized. I don't always feel organized, but that's how that works. And now I know we're about done. Would you be interested to hear what I say to people when they walk in? And if you do need to go, you can go. I wouldn't be offended one bit. So where's my house? Here it is. This isn't the house I asked for, but it's gonna work. We're gonna work with that. That's fine. It was so struggling. We got him. Okay. So this is a house in Blue Springs. Apparently, I'm holding it open, and it's a 3-bed, 2-bath. I like to see that it's 1,400 square feet. It's listed for $314,490. That's always hard to say when you're I try to remember those details. It was built in 2025. It's a new build, so it's never been occupied. Okay, good to know. But I know the details when I walk in, and so when they open the door, I'm like, "Hi, I'm Brandy. I'm with Keller Williams. How are you?" "I'm good. We're Steve and Cheryl." "Hi, Steve and Cheryl. Awesome. Are you from the neighborhood, or are you maybe looking to make a move into the neighborhood?" "Yeah, we're looking to maybe make a move into the neighborhood." "Awesome. I love that. Well, welcome in. This is a 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's got a little more than 1,400 square feet. Right now, we've been on the market about 3 days, and we're listed at $314,490. And just curious, how did you learn about the open house?" "Oh, you saw it online? Okay, great. Awesome. I love that. Well, fantastic. Oh, by the way, that is such a great color on you." I worked something else in there besides just like, boom. Or yeah, oh, look, And I talk to the kids. Oh my gosh, talk to the kids. If they bring a child, talk to that kid if you can, even if they kind of hide and they kind of hide behind their mom or dad. A lot of them won't. Or I'm like, oh my gosh, I love Paw Patrol too. I almost wore my Paw Patrol shoes today, but they were a little muddy, so I had to wear these. Something like that. I've got kids. I'm good with kids. And if you can reach it, the kid is a good icebreaker as long as you don't get creepy vibes or give off creepy vibes. Don't do that. But talk to the kid. It's a good icebreaker, and parents love it when you connect with their child. So that's a great icebreaker. But then I kind of let them look around. I'm like, all right, why don't you take a look around? I'll be right here if you have any questions. Oh, by the way, as you're going, oh, by the way, do you mind taking this with you as you walk around? I'd love to get your feedback because our seller and our listing agent would love to know what potential buyers think about their house. And it's okay to be honest. The good, the bad, the ugly. I don't live here. You're not going to hurt my feelings. There you go. You know, especially if it's a house that we're kind of thinking is overpriced or has some work, and the sellers aren't really hearing you that the carpet is a little worn and it's dirty and whatever. Maybe somebody else will bring it up and then we'll go, well, hey, this is what they said. But anyway, so that's kind of what I do. And then I hang out in the kitchen and I wait for them to come back, or I might follow them around depending if they go, hey, does this attic fan work? You know what? I'm not sure. Let's try. Unless it's like taped up or something, I might try it. Yeah, they don't know what attic fans are. I know. And about half of them don't work. Honestly, they don't. But anyway, I do love me a good attic fan. It's true. It's true. It's so true. And then so when they come back, maybe I see how much I said, I'll take that from you. And I take and I look and I'm like, okay, yeah, awesome. I really appreciate you doing that. Oh, by the way, something about the drawback, and they need a fenced yard. Oh, you need a fenced yard. Do you have a dog? So I like to talk about something. I'm asking questions just to get them talking because they know what I'm doing probably. And so I try to just break down the wall and just be as normal and conversational as I can. And so I always tell people this is I don't know where I came up with this. But it's kind of like if you're going to get their information and they're not giving it to you, don't take no for an answer. If they don't fill it out, that's a no, right? But don't take that for an answer. Find another way in. This is my analogy that because I do love analogies, would be if they can't get the front door open, go to the back door. If you can't get the back door open, go to the window. Try to find a way in to see why are they here? What are they looking for? What do they want to do? And it could be, yeah, we're not going to do nothing. Or we're not going to make a move until after school's out. We got kids in school. We don't want to make a move. Okay, no problem. Absolutely. That's pretty common. And so I'm making mental notes. Where do you guys live now? You know, especially I always ask that. Where do you live now? In Blue Springs. Okay. Oh, yeah, I know Blue Springs. What part of Blue Springs? Where are you at? I'm trying to find, because if they're not going to give me their information, I hopefully remember their name. And if I can find out, okay, they're in Blue Springs. So if I can go to tax records and find Steve, now if it's Steve Smith in Blue Springs, I might have a trouble. But if they're like, oh yeah, we're over on Ivy Street. Okay, cool. Love it. You know, just making conversation. Maybe it's about the kids, you know, maybe it's about sports, maybe it's about whatever you can get them talking about. If they have a Chiefs shirt on, talk about the Chiefs, the weather. I don't care. Find a way in and find a way to get their information. Find a way, something that they need. I can send you that seller's disclosure. You know, I don't exactly, you know, I've got one here. Let me ask about this. Would you like the seller's disclosure? I can sure send that to you. And people say, yeah, you know, I'll take it. Absolutely. What's a good phone number? That's what I mean. Like try to find a way in. Any thoughts, questions, anything I didn't hit or something you'd like for me to help with? All right, let me show you that. And then, yep, absolutely. So if you go to command, let's see if I can remember my password. Well, maybe if Caesar's, nope, let me go. This may not be right.
It wasn't. It had one password.
Oh, did it? Okay. And there's a security code. That is, no, you're fine. It's fine. I got to do it every so often anyway. Okay. Don't forget, this goes to your personal backup email. So in command, up here at the top, I can see that I'm in command. You guys will have command and you'll have connect. I have, this is for team leader stuff, market center stuff. So you won't have that one, but it's inside of connect. So if you go to connect, and everybody needs to know about connect because this is a whole learning cave of wonders. It is, there's so much here. There's videos, there's so much going on here, but I think, let me see. So you can scroll through, and a lot of this stuff is videos. It is free for you to watch or download. But if up here, I believe if we say playbooks, there's different ones here. Let's see, is this the one? There's a screen where I see all, yep, here we go. See, here's all the different playbooks. That's for AI and coding. The open houses, AI, contacts for your contacts and building your database assessment, ISA as an inside sales associate, mortgage hacks, newsletter, playbook, online leads, profit share, seminars, social media, all that stuff. So you have access to all of that in your command. The other thing, and feel free to look around on the command. If you want to know anything about anything, there's probably something here in connect. The other thing I want to show you, oh shoot, this isn't my computer, I forget. Oop, I can't see. HeartlandMLS.com. And I didn't type it. Thank you. I can't. Oh, I can't, obviously. Let's see if I remember my password here. All right, somebody might be logged in. Let's see. Cool. Oh, stink. Okay, I'm gonna do this anyway. All right, so to find an open house and to search for our office, you go to Matrix, search residential. I just always grab residential quick, that's fine. Now, if you scroll to the bottom, very, very bottom, there's this place where you can add additional fields. So I'm gonna add a field. Here's my choices, the available field, and I'm looking for listing office. So it's under, they're alphabetized. Listing agent ID, listing office ID. That's what I'm looking for. Was it? That, okay, you're right, because then if I click add, it throws it over here, and it was there. So good catch. This isn't my MLS, so I didn't know it was there. But you can actually search other things here. And so sometimes if you want to see if something's on the water, if somebody says, hey, I want to move to Lakewood, but I want something on the water, you can do an additional search to find waterfront here. If they have to have a fireplace, I don't know, there's just different categories you can add if you want. So anyway, let me go back to where it was, scroll down. Thank you for catching that, Crystal. There it is at the bottom. Office, listing office ID. So if I do KW08, no spaces, I have 49 matches. And that's the only thing I plugged in was, so our office currently has 49 listings. And when we click results, you can see everything that's active here. And you can, if you like it, like, hey, I do want to hold something open in Freeman, okay, maybe pick that one. If you don't want to go to Sedalia, don't pick that one. And then you can see who's got it held open. I'm trying to see, everything is active. We don't have any coming soons right now. If we did, they would show up here. No, that's not true. That's not true. You're right. You're right. See, I've clicked the active button. If I go click coming soon, it used to be called, yeah, there we go. Now I've got 62 matches. So there are some coming soons. You may want to check the coming soons. There at the end, CSN means coming soon, and see what's coming on. And if you want to be the first agent to raise your hand to say, I'd like to hold that open, you can kind of, let's pick this one. No, let's pick one. I like to pick a price point you want to work in because you're going to attract those kind of buyers. This is Butler. It's coming soon, but it'll tell you it's coming soon, active on the 27th right here. Active date's the 27th. So if that fits, reach out to Tony and ask him if you can hold this house open in Butler if you want. That's kind of how we find them real quick and easy. That helps, Stacy?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've kept you longer than I've wanted to. You're welcome. Okay, if you do have any other questions or something comes to mind later, just let me know. I'm happy to help. All right, you're welcome. Do you have time to hang out with me? Okay, great. Awesome. Fantastic. Okay.